Mr. Speaker, I rise to speak on an issue that is close to my heart and vital to the cultural, social and economic life of our region, the future of live music in far north Queensland. Music has been a huge part of my life. I've been watching my dad perform on stage since I was a toddler, and by the time I was 14 years old, I got my first paycheck for being a sax player and a vocalist in his band. Playing and singing at venues with my father and my husband over the last 30 years has been one of the highlights of my life. I know with absolute conviction that live music keeps the heart of a community beating. Nothing connects people faster than a shared song, and there is nothing better than being in an audience or being on a stage when hundreds or thousands of people are singing along with all of their hearts. Live music turns strangers into a crowd and a crowd into a community. You don't just hear live music, you feel it. But sadly, live music in far north Queensland is dying. The current regulations are constraining musicians and harming our local venues. Mr. Speaker, under current regulations, live acts are forced to stay within an unrealistic 75 decibel caps that are often exceeded by passing traffic. Even a lawnmower is louder than 75 decibels. Any attempt to exceed those levels requires expensive acoustic reports and infrastructure upgrades that many small venues can't simply afford. Even those that do comply are still vulnerable to penalties due to vague terms like unreasonable noise, which can be applied inconsistently and based solely on subjective complaints. The results are that venues are giving up, gigs are being cancelled, and musicians are losing work and fighting over a handful of venues that can meet the sound regulation requirements. I've held roundtables and spoken directly with venues and musicians across the far north, and the message is clear that the current regulations are hurting the live music industry and the hospitality industry. But local music creates jobs, drives tourism, brings people together, and live music keeps people in a venue longer. I recently attended Savannah in the Round on the weekend, a fantastic regional live music tourism event that proved just how important live music is to our region. Over 32,000 people attended, 60 artists performed. This matters. 10 years ago, live music was part of the weekly lineup, not only in the Cairns City Centre, the Esplanade, Mondo's, Pullman's and the John O's Blues Bar, but across the northern beaches. Live music was everywhere and tourists and locals loved it. You could walk venue to venue listening to live music. A few months ago, I started a petition on my website. There's over 500 signatures. I've met with the Attorney General, I've met with Minister O'Connor, Olga, and I appreciate their time. I've also met with the Nightlife Economy Commissioner, John Collins, who's the venue owner and the bass player of Powderfinger, and he and I have both agreed to not stop fighting until we fix this issue for our fellow musicians. I know with every part of who I am that live music is not just entertainment, it's connection, it's culture and community, and it's the day the music dies isn't a lyric, it's a warning. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.